Alright. Welcome to this episode 1 review. I've done this on my other channel. But because of fucking YouTube fucking up and all that shit, now I have to transfer it back to this channel, and it just pisses me off that, I've done all this hard work on my other channel, and now I gotta go back and do everything again on this channel. Everything that I've done mostly on that other goddamn channel that I had, it's still there, but I can't stream no more on that channel until I get it fixed. Hopefully I'll have it fixed today, but again, this is going to be the channel I'm going to be using for right now until I hope it's not a long time. Yeah. So I had to spend another week or so doing this and just basically giving everything that I've done, putting it on this channel now. So it's gonna take a lot of time. So let's get to Chucky episode 1, season 1. Now, I used to be scared of the doll when I was younger. I used to be scared of the movies when I was younger. Now, watching episode 1, where, how they introduce the characters, Jake, Chucky, Lexi, Junior, Devin, who may or may not play Jake's love interest in this. Alright, so yeah. Alright. So we begin with Jake. We see a little flashback to a woman sitting in a mirror. Basically, doing her hair. And then you see her turn around, but you don't see who's behind her. Then you go to present day, where there's a Chucky at a garage sale. Doll. A Chucky doll. So this kid named Jake basically, finds Chucky. And basically, says he'll buy them. He ends up buying them. We find out Jake gets bullied at school because he sculpts his dolls and he's on the fence of, if he's straight, he's gay, or whatever. So there's a couple of these bullies, a girl named Lexi, and then you got his cousin Junior, who's dating Lexi, and she's also dating, some guy named Oliver, I think it is. Well, he doesn't really have an important part. I'll get to that in 2 more reviews. Basically, certain things start to happen. Jake is bullied at school by Lexi mostly. You know, and Lexi and Oliver. So he takes Chucky to school. They have a certain, well, they don't really bond right now. They don't realize, Jake doesn't realize who Chucky is yet. So when Jake gets home, you see him trying to unscrew Jake trying to unscrew Chucky's head to put on the sculpture, which is a bunch of skulls from other dolls. And then you see Jake's dad coming home. He tells Jake, that, he doesn't really understand why he's an artist. Because Jake is certain kind of artist. I guess his mom was. Because his mom is dead right now. So then you get Jake the next day. Then Jake starts getting a phone call from, I guess, what appears to be Andy. And this is when he realizes who telling him to check the battery on the doll. So Jake checks the doll's batteries and realizes there's no batteries. So then Chucky starts to come alive and start to talk. And Jake's realizing, and Jake starts to read about, what the doll has done from the previous movies. And then you get Chucky starting to come to life and talking to Jake. And then Jake is like, he realizes that there's something wrong with the doll. So he starts to try to get rid of him. He's throwing him in the garbage can. And so the next day, oh, actually, I skipped a few things. You know, Jake's sitting in class with Chucky, and they're dissecting a frog, or trying to. And then all of a sudden you see the frog. Jake doesn't really want to dissect it. The teacher talks to Jake, and then a second, like 2 minutes later, frog's dissected and stuff. And the teacher looks at Jake and says, "I bet you don't want to do it." And then Jake's like, well, kind of like, "I didn't do it." So basically, we start to see, Jake noticing things that are basically, well, with the dog. And then that's when they go home, and he warns about Chucky. Jake then reads up and starts doing the things. And then the next day, he throws him in the trash can. Jake's at school thinking he got rid of Chucky. So he gets invited to a talent show by this Devin kid. He's still being picked on by Lexi. Then Lexi's like, "Oh, Jake, why don't you tell Devin and his mom how you really feel about Devin's performance?" And she's like really laying into Jake. And then Chucky all of a sudden says, "Hey, Lexi, why don't you pick on some of your own fucking size?" And then Jake turns around and realizes it's Chucky. And Chucky says to him, "See, kid, you can't really get rid of me." So Jake goes and picks up Chucky. I guess Chucky is whispering something to Jake, and Jake says, right here. Okay. So Jake goes in front of everybody and basically says, he doesn't talk. It's Chucky that's doing the talking. I guess somehow Chucky took Lexi's phone, and Chucky starts saying, "Ooh, look at this. Lexi's got pictures of Oliver and Junior, and she's into Pokemon porn and stuff." And how Jake's, I guess, aunt or something has a secret or something like that. My baby. My baby, my baby, my baby. And basically, and then Chucky starts, making fun of the crowd and then cursing at them. And so they you see the mom and the other the father and the uncle and the aunt and Junior at their house during dinner. Basically, Jake's uncle, or the dad's brother, whatever, is saying, fucking, about Jake, and his dad's getting pissed. Honestly, this was before that, before the talent show thing. Then, they tell Jake that he's suspended. His dad's like drunk. And basically when Jake comes home and then he starts to hit Jake and telling him that, he doesn't want to see him. And in the meantime, Chucky's watching all this. And, basically this, and, so the power goes out. Jake's up in his room saying he wishes his dad was dead. And he realizes that Chucky's not there. So Jake is looking around the room for Chucky. And the father, who basically is a dumbass, goes and checks the power box. And Chucky's standing there. It's in water, so he spits acid on the floor and basically electrocutes him. And then you've got the cops coming, saying it was an accident, investigating. And then you have Jake's uncle coming to get him, taking him home with his cousin Junior, who, isn't really a nice guy, honestly. And then, toward the end, Jake's like, "You did it to Chucky. Why did you do it?" And then all of a sudden, at the end, the woman turns around and it's Charles Lee Ray, kid form. So that's how episode 1 ends. Basically, Mom, it was a good episode. It was only one kill. It wasn't that gory. Get it over the sink. But, Get it over the sink. Yes. It was alright. I'll get to part 2 in a little bit. Alright. Again, I have to redo every fucking video I did on my last channel just because YouTube's being an idiot and they fucked up. Mom, get it over the sink. They canceled my live stream for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah. So look for more content. I have to reload everything onto this channel. So it's going to be, I hope it won't take me that long, but yeah. Mom, what are you doing?